Hi guys, I'm glad you made it to the second part of the series. So let's get started. Alright, so last time, if you watched last episode, we were talking about how to install the Arduino IDE itself and how to use it. So in this tutorial, we're gonna go through sample blink program in Arduino. Okay, so before we do that, let's try and explain a little bit what these are for those who don't know, because this is like when you open a new sketch or a new file, this is like this is the boilerplate code that you're gonna run into. Okay, so we have void setup and void loop. So if you've worked with other programming language, you must know that these are functions. Okay, let me close this down. Okay, these are two functions. There's a function called setup. This is a function called loop. So they are void functions that do not return anything. So the setup function, this is where you do all your configurations or the pre-configurations. This is where you declare all the peripherals that are connected to the board, if there are any LEDs, if there are any sensors, if there are any switches, or if there are any other thing that you will connect to the board. So this is where you declare it or you configure it. Okay, and then on the loop, it's an infinite loop basically. So this is where the program runs in. Okay, so this is where things, according to the comment here, the main code here, it runs repeatedly. Okay, once you put the main code there. Okay, so let's do like an example program called let's just blink LED. So the way I'm gonna teach this course is I'm gonna use a simulator, because I just want to make it as clear as possible so that people who don't have like the board itself, because sometimes you just wanna just want to learn, but maybe you don't have the money to buy the board and all that stuff so yet. But there's a simulator. The good news is there's a simulator that you can find online, which you can play around with, and it's on this it's called walkway.com. okay, so you come in here, you sign up, and then you click new project. Let me just show you how you do it. Okay, so you go to walkway.com. okay, for those who don't have the board, yeah, totally get it. So once you sign up, I signed up with Google. Then you come in here, you hit new project, choose your board here. So in this case, because we are learning Arduino Uno, click Arduino Uno, and then you have where you can write your code here, and then you have the board itself. So it's a simulation of the board. You can do all these things that you would do in a physical board. Okay, but the programming part, I'm not gonna program here. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write code on the Arduino IDE that you're used to, because in real life this is what you're gonna use. And then to run it, to show you how the code runs and the sensors and all that stuff, I'll show you via Walkway. Okay, yeah, I think that's easy enough for people who don't have the board. Okay, if you have the board and all the equipment, you can just connect it according to the diagram. Okay, so yeah, let's get started. Okay, so because I'm gonna be blinking an LED, so this so to add an LED on Walkway, just click add new part and then select it. So this is the one. So let me just zoom in, just in case it's not clear. Okay, one sec. It's too much. Yeah, I think this is much better, like that. Okay, so this is the board and this is the LED. So we're gonna wanna blink this LED here. Okay, so on the board itself, so we have different pins. Okay, and in a microcontrollers there are digital pins and analog pins, right? So on this side, you see all the pin numbers that start with A, these are analog pins. Actually, they are indicated on the board. And then there's the digital pin. Okay, pins. So these are the digital ones, and then the analog ones, and then all this stuff has to do with power. 5 volts or ground. Ground is the negative, then 5 volts is the positive, so it's normally referred to as VCC as well. Okay, so let's connect this LED and then do some blinking. So to do it, you have to connect the longer pin on the LED usually is the signal pin or the VCC pin, and then the shorter one is the ground pin. So to do it, you just hover your mouse on this and then like that. Okay, and then you're gonna get the wire like that. Let me repeat it. You click it, and then you don't need to drag the wire. You just move your mouse. If you want to make a corner, click here like that. Okay, so there we've connected the ground, and then now we're gonna connect the signal pin. So I'm gonna use pin 7. You can use any of the digital pins. Yeah, I'm just gonna use pin 7 because it's closer to me. Okay, so let's write code for this. So to do, on the setup side, there's a function called pin mode. Okay, I like the new ID because it's some sort of like it's got like the documentation some sort, so you can know what each function does. So on the pin mode, we're gonna declare the pin number that we have, which is pin 7, and then on the mode we're going to specify if it's an output or an input. For this case is an output pin. Okay, then after that we'll close that. So pin mode sets the pin number as output, or it configures the pin as output or input. So in case you're confused about input or output, so for the LED, what we want to send the signal out to the LED, right? So that's how it's the easiest way to like describe it. So like sending the signal out, so that you say that we're blinking it or not. So for input, there are things like the temp sound, which we need to listen from outside, but now we are emanating the light to outside, to the outside. So that's an easy analogy to put it. So we've just configured the pin, and then so on the void loop, because we want to blink it repeatedly, so we're gonna do like digital write. Okay, so there's a function called digital write. So digital write is like switching on or off. We're going to specify the pin, and then we do high. Okay, so high means on. After that, okay, let's run this first and then see how it goes. Okay, so I'm gonna paste the code here. Okay, and then save it. Let's just do blank. Okay, and then run it. See, the LED is on. Okay, the LED is on. All right, let's go back to the code. So we want to blink it repeatedly, so we do digital write high, and then we do like delay, because we want to blink it every 1 second, and then we're gonna call the delay function, which takes in time in milliseconds. So 1000 milliseconds is 1 second, and then after lighting up for 1 second, we're gonna turn it off by writing low like that. Okay, all right, so on the Arduino IDE, you can just compile like that by verifying if there are no errors, and then once you verify it, you upload it to the board. Okay, but for our case, let's copy that, paste it, let's run it. Okay, that I've done a mistake. 1 sec. yeah, we're gonna have to specify how long does it have to be off. You see, it's blinking after every 1 second. Okay, so that's how we do the blink program. That's how we do the blink program. Pretty easy, right? It's not that hard. Okay, when you're done, just click the stop button. So we have the void setup where we declare the pin, and then we set it at as output or input, and then on the loop, this is where the code runs repeatedly. Okay, then we turn it on, turn it off, on, off, and then this is the delay. How long do you want it to stay on? So it's like when you turn it on, stay on for 1 second. After 1 second, turn it off, and then off for 1 second, and then repeat. So that's how it's going to blink. All right, thank you guys for watching. Please remember to subscribe. Any comments, questions, and concerns, you can leave them in the comment below. Thank you.